Hello and welcome to When Pigs Fly. I am Patty and I'm joined by Renee and Tracy. Good morning, ladies.
Hello.
Morning.
So good to see you. So today we are going to talk about uncharted territory and the unknown, and we want to talk about why am I so afraid in this process. And I don't know about you guys, I absolutely had points where I was like, what's going on? And you feel the need to get it right. And we want to talk about, I think just getting through that and a new perspective on it, and then also, we'll share our experiences and how we got to this other side of looking at it as, oh, wow, this is getting to the point where it's fun and curious and really diving into being a creator and all the fun around that. So, um, Renee, I think from an energetic standpoint, you can probably give us a nice starting point here.
So we're moving into, and as we've been talking about, we're moving into a whole new energy. All the old ways of doing things are no longer. And this is all about us now feeling, paying attention to us because the energy is changing. The energy of the entire world is changing. The energy of everything that you've known is now being released and let go from your field. So if you're stuck in that whole field of, I need to be fixed, or you're always going backwards in time, like, oh, well, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. You're stuck in that old energy in the old field, and you're going to connect into that energetic aspect of the world, is what I'll say, because it's really, in a sense, the energy is separating. Okay, so if you're into that whole field of going into the yesterdays, because I have to fix it or something's wrong with me, and it's like Penny said, I believe in the last episode, it was, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be fixed. You have to focus and center in the now and in what feels right. So from that whole energetic perspective, we're moving into the unknown, whether you like it or not. That's where we are. And this is what's happening, because it's the earth's energy giving you that extra push to say, hey, everything that you thought you were and everything that was is no longer. So what are you creating? So it's another aspect of what, like we always say, the energy is really here to help us and to support us. And it's another way of bringing you into the recognition and the realization that, oh, wait a minute, I create my reality. What is it I want now? Not what my husband wants or my children want or my aunt wants or what I've been told from my parents and like everything else. It's what do you want? Honoring that and allowing that energy to actually move you into the natural flow of light and of life, because that's the energy that we're moving into, the natural flow. Gaia, Mother, Father, Earth, like that whole energy is all about flow. When you're disengaged and disconnected from that, you're going to be into that whole struggle and fighting things and doing that, because then that's a recognition that, oh, wait a minute, I'm not in flow. I'm not in the natural energetic field of not only myself, but where the world's going. So you're going to be left behind. So that's a very scary thing when we are stepping outside of everything that we have known. And guess what? That's what we're doing. Everything that we have known, that's scary as shit. Like, I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
That is because it's like, oh my God, what do I do? How do I go from here? What's happening? And nobody can tell you, because again, this is your path, your experience to move forward and to go on to whatever it is you want. And if you want struggle, there's no judgment. Okay, then go into struggle. But recognize that that's who you are and say, okay, well, this is where I am, and this is where I'm most comfortable. And I know people that do that. They're like, I'm like, okay, we'll shift you over to here, do this, or say this, and what does it feel like if you do that? And I'm like, I can't do that. That's not anything that I have known. I mean, they're that afraid to even just say or think something. Or when I say, well, look in the mirror and just say it's okay for us to change. Safety is a big thing. If we could get safety in our system, oh
Yeah.
my God, like, that you'd be okay. So just start with telling your system we're safe. We're
Yeah.
safe. And ask, like, when I used to feel so afraid, I was petrified to drive on the thruway because cars go really crazy. And I'm only in Buffalo, so they're not half as crazy as
Come to
some other
LA.
places. Exactly. So it's that piece where I was like, okay, before I would get on, I'm like, okay, guys, you got to show me I'm safe. And the truth is, I was really afraid of the big trucks, and that was like a past life thing, right? Like died, like this truck pushed me off the road, I drowned, like this whole thing. And I was aware of that, but I'm still petrified. So I said, okay, and I looked and I saw these big trucks coming. And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, nope, I'm gonna do it. Okay, guys, show me I'm safe. I'm gonna be, I don't even know how it happened, but all of a sudden, all of those trucks were either way ahead of me or way behind. Like I had no problem getting on. Like they just like weren't there. And my entire drive on there, I was so far away from them, there was nothing. I was like, wow. And I was just like, thank you. You guys are good. Don't
Yeah.
forget to give the appreciation.
Yeah.
But know that if you're afraid, we're all afraid. It's a matter like you're not alone. People are afraid of this unknown because that's what we were programmed. We're programmed like be afraid of this. When you're learning to walk, we're like, don't go over there. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna. It's embedded in us. And now it's time for us to move forward and get out of that and remember what is it I want to create. And you have a whole shitload of healers here assisting you and just say, help me know this. Help me know I'm okay. Help me know I'm safe. Look in the mirror. We, meaning all parts of you, we are safe. Let that be your mantra. Record it on your phone or someplace. And when you're going to bed, put your little headphones on or just play it. Because in your voice, when you're hearing your voice, we're safe, we're loved, we're abundant, we're peace, we're calm, whatever it is you want. That's when your system, you're helping your system to reprogram in that field. And it's your own voice, not somebody else's. And not that you can't listen to somebody else's and get that shift. But with your voice, man, you'll feel that shift really quick.
Yeah. You have to cultivate your own safety. And I want to add on, and this is one, and this may or may not be where some of you are at in your journey yet, but you can still practice this even though you don't have 100% faith in it. You're fully supported. You're not doing it alone. We're coming out of separation and into unity consciousness. That's what this higher consciousness is. And practice, like I make it a rule not to make any big decisions. And I do small ones that feel choiceless. And then I ask, okay, show me. Show me what's my next logical step. And we have to undo that need to know all the steps and look what happened. Did your parents plan your whole life for you? Like that doesn't work anymore. And it's stepping into the now moment again and then saying, how can I cultivate safety for myself right now? And Renee, I love the mirror work and say, it's safe to be me. It's right. It's safe for me to be seen whatever it is. And if you ask yourself, okay, wait, what am I really afraid of? I know we talked about abundance. Um, this is a big one. Okay, so I'm going to step into my joy and my passion, but I don't know how I'm going to monetize that. Or some of you are following your passion already, and then you're saying, where are my clients? I had a client recently that said this, oh, all of a sudden my clients aren't here, and I said, because you've trained yourself that that's the only way it can come in. And then she said, oh, I would love it to come in surprising ways. And I said, well, you're a creator. You have that ability. So start asking and start just get more expansive and look at ways that you can cultivate your own safety and then get granular about it and saying, okay, wait, yes, there's an unknown, but don't forget you're fully supported, you do have guidance, and as you step into your power, that guidance comes and you start to trust it and you catch yourself just quicker and quicker going like, I know if my mind starts to go on something, I'll just stop and go, wait, that's I'm not here. I literally catch myself. And Renee, you've got some great cues. Bring yourself back into your body. Please realign myself with all that is, or whatever verbiage works for you. I tell my guides, bring me fully into my body, and I'd say the date too. Please bring me fully into my body, because I tell, oh, my head jumped to the future and that's not where I am. I'm creating now. And that's how I like choose to pull it in and then and cultivate your own safety and know that you're supported And and you just, that's where you can start to, you gain momentum, and then you start to trust it, because things, a lot of times I think we jump the gun too. We want a solution right now, right? Oh, this is scary. So what, that's the old fight or flight. That's the struggle bus. It's going, figure this out or you're going to die. Like, that is the message coming from the struggle bus. And the truth is, no, let it go. Let it go and ask for guidance. And sometimes you don't even need to do anything. Like Renee said, it solved itself. She said, help me get over this. The trucks disappeared. That is the power that you truly have in this, at this time. And so it's, you know, start to dig with some curiosity and say, okay, what am I really afraid of? Am I afraid of being seen or being heard? Well, you're kind of being forced, like the energy is like that. Why do you think our throats are all getting upgrades right now? Because so many of us were told, be seen and not heard, and we choked on our words, or we never even said them. So our throats now are undergoing an upgrade, and it's like, no. And when you speak your truth and honor that, you feel that freedom and you feel that security, right?
I'll jump
Trace, go
in, and
ahead.
it's interesting, Renee, that you use the analogy of the trucks, because in the past couple weeks, I've noticed that I'll try and have a conversation, a lot of it with business or even my husband or children, and I can't even get out a couple of words and I get cut off. And I've said to a few people, like, listen, I was going to say a paragraph and you cut me off at sentence one with all your having to be right. And I always, like, I witness what's going on around me. And then I ask, what the heck is happening? I'm asking the higher beings. And what got back is, people are so spiraling in their right. Like, they'll ask me a question and won't even ask for or wait for my answer, or I'm trying to give them some direction because they're my business and I need them to do this, or my children, and I get cut off immediately. So what I was shown energetically is that they are so spiraling in their having to be right, which is old energy, that they don't even see the freight train of the wrong, which is the new energy. It's not right or wrong. But do you see,
Yeah.
yeah, but for this, because, right? And I'm like, yeah, but that's not right anymore. That's old. And do you see why I say the wrong energy? It's not wrong. It's just new.
Yeah.
But it's terrifying because we think this big thing of unsafety is coming. And I always see it coming like behind, because people aren't aware. And I know it's weird for me to get this out energetically, but so hopefully you're tracking. And it was a very cool analogy I was shown. And then I was like, oh, I get it. Like, I see, like, the computer when it's frozen, like people
Yep.
are in the
The
queue of,
spinning, the
and I want to
spinning wheel of death, I
out
call
of
it.
it. Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, if you ask me something, have the respect to let me answer you fully and completely, and I totally.
Oh, you
She,
froze.
oh no. Well, Tracy, we need to clean up that energy because the technology cut her off today. So we'll wait and see if she can circle back in. But I think Renee and I can jump in on where she was going with this. And yeah, that is true. And if you are looking for a solution, are you open to a different perspective? And what she's saying is she was ready to offer a new perspective. And yet, but so they wanted to be heard, but they really didn't want it. You were blocking the answer from coming in, right?
Yeah, because they didn't want to hear a different perspective. And what I love about that, and that's what everybody has to start to look at and recognize, is notice what she was doing. They weren't listening to her, and she actually called them on it. She was standing in her power. And that's what we all need to do, stand in our power, not in a nasty way. Because notice, even when she's telling the story, you can feel the energy to it. And I'm going to invite you, I think, because it's the whole thing is, invite you to, as we're speaking, as we're doing for all the podcast, everything, feel it. I want you to feel what we're saying. Feel the energy coming in, feel the energy coming off, because we're all sending this beautiful love energy. So let that all will go. But stand in your power in love. Stand in that whole aspect where when you can say something nice, where when she was saying, look at, you asked me this question and you didn't wait to hear my answer. So it's that aspect of she stood in her power with love. Don't have to get nasty. You don't have to be right. And if they say, oh well, I was just saying, I just wanted to voice it. Okay, then you don't want to hear it. Maybe ask in the beginning. Are you looking for solutions or are you looking for comfort? That's what my daughter always says. So it's the point of like doing that, but really honoring what's right for you and recognizing we absolutely have to start to see things a different way. Our comfort zones are no longer. We are literally being uprooted
Yeah.
from the comfort zones.
Yeah. But you're not powerless too, right? And I think the old energy kept us powerless because the whole premise behind the fight or flight brain was for survival, for when man had to, fear the saber-toothed tiger. And that thought system never evolved. So we're now evolving. We are now evolving, and that thought system, it got like distorted and it got amplified in the wrong direction. And so now it's, like I said, like how can you cultivate your own safety? What am I afraid of? But then remembering that you're supported and you're not disempowered, you've been empowered. You've been empowered, and your job now is to direct your energy. How am I directing my energy? And then you do, and start with little things and play with something fun that you want to create and make it something easy. Like, I tell people even try it, focusing on something easy like yellow butterflies. And it sounds crazy, but I'll say, just in your journal every day, say, you know what, I'm going to focus on yellow butterflies. And Renee, within days, they go, I saw yellow butterflies. And I go, that is, and the thing is with the power that we have and the energy that's here, a yellow butterfly is no different from anything like a loving relationship. But it's letting go of that fear behind it and then standing in your power. And when you focus on a state of being instead of material things, or right, that pulls so much of the fear away, and it can help you. And then be curious and say like, oh, I wonder what other ways could abundance come to me? And then ask for guidance. Show me. And then when you get an impulse, don't go, oh, I wonder how I can make money at this. Because now you go back to that old energy. And then going, okay, when you get guided with an impulse, just go indulge it right there in the now moment, right? Because then the next step will come. So we have to get out of, it's a new operating system, get out of this long range, having to plan everything in advance, and bring it back to, okay, the new way is you get breadcrumbs. You get a breadcrumb now and but like I said, before you know it, you're making cakes, and then you're like, okay, now I'm used to this. So it's you will develop a comfort level with it. And think of it this way too. If you feel that anxiousness in your body, consider that it could also be excitement, because excitement can charge up your solar plexus just the way fear can too, right?
And tell yourself that, like, hey, this is exciting. Like, oh, we're shifting and we're changing. And when you go to bed, that's a great time to be saying things to yourself, because you just have to think. You don't have to say anything out loud. You're thinking it because now your system will. If you're saying the same, oh, we're safe. Or even if you don't say we, because when I say we, I'm talking to all parts of you. I'm safe. I'm safe, and then it'll eventually change to we. But when you're doing that, and then you go to sleep, your system then will start to cleanse and clear. It's going to release everything that told you, or that was in there that said you weren't safe. So it's this whole other component, that bringing yourself around into this energetic field of knowing that you're safe, knowing that you have this beautiful life of peace and balance of calm. Because like we said in one of the other ones, it's not the material thing you're usually looking for, it's the feeling that gives you. So
Yeah.
what is that feeling that you want?
Yeah.
And Tracy, you back. Oh, she's on mute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unmute yourself, and if you can.
But yeah, Renee,
But
oh, we got Tracy back. And Tracy, you know, we were saying that energetically you said the words, I'm getting cut off, and the technology cut you off.
Isn't that crazy? And boy, it does not want me back on.
We knew you'd find a way.
Exactly.
New location, new setting, bad camera.
All
Oh
good.
well.
This is an energetic presentation.
Exactly.
All good.
Was there anything else that you wanted to say to that, Tracy, that you had started that you can recall?
I just thought it was a cool analogy of people being it's scared. That was the premise of our conversation of why am I so scared? Because that new energy is coming in, and it's coming in hard and strong, which is exciting, but it's also a little scary. And just to be mindful of not getting stuck in our old stories and our old habits. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was we had joked about it earlier about we're talking to people saying, hey, this is what's coming, this is what's happening. And then you kind of just sit back, and then, you know, it happens and you're kind of in the background going, I know, I told you that. Yeah, we talked about that. Right.
Yeah, because they didn't hear it the first time, but then it happens and they go, guess what just happened? And we we got you. But you know, Tracy, another thing I want to bring up is part of this with the ascension symptoms too is you can feel disconnected. So I know a lot of you saying, I don't know what to do next. I feel like, and don't force it when you're in resistance, just recognize it. We all have had this, right? You get that brain fog where you go, what was I? And then you just have to allow that, because every time we get new blast of energy, it's illumination energy. It has to acclimate to your body's acclimating, and you're integrating it. And so just know, like, if you have one of those days where, oh my God, nothing's coming together, I don't know what to do next, I don't have to make that self-care day. Just say, okay, it's not here now. And that's what we're talking about. Have grace and have ease and recognize, okay, I mean, it happens to it happens to us, and we're aware of it. And so these are the steps that, I don't know what you guys do, but when I'm aware of that, like, like, oh, it's time to take a nap, and take it. And again, if it's not appropriate for where you're at, there's still something you can do. Just say, what can I do right now in this moment? You could sit at your desk and take 3 deep breaths and just drop into your heart and just say, okay, thank you for the upgrade. I'm just going to allow this. And you will find when you bring yourself back to that stillness, that point of stillness is where things will settle, and you can say, help me incorporate this new energy with ease and grace. Ask. We have free will, and this is where you can use your free will to your advantage and not your disadvantage. And just say, please bring this into me with ease and grace. So
I love that, because people don't really recognize, how much, like, when you're feeling disconnected, you're feeling like that something's not right. Yeah, we're being disconnected from the old versions of us, the old aspects, our comfort zones, the old belief systems. All of that old stuff is now being literally removed. It's all energy. Okay, so it's being removed. And what I saw like a couple of days ago was they were bringing this energy in. There was the Earth's energy like coming in, and sometimes I get nosy. I'm like, well, what's this doing for my husband, or what's it doing for my daughter? And look, and what's really interesting is I see the energy going into the organs of the body, because we've been holding on to this stuff into not only the energy field, but it's gone into our physical forms, okay, the cells and all this stuff. Well, that's all being cleansed and purified. So that change. So I'm going to ask you to sort of look at that when you're feeling something, or when you have a diagnosis of something, really look at it and say, okay, wait a minute. The energy's coming in to assist me. What can I do to sort of flip this around and to recognize I'm the creator? And can I now heal this? Sometimes the journey is like, years ago, I worked with a lot of cancer patients, and some of their journeys were not about healing. Their journey was about bringing an awareness to their family members. And when they passed, those family members were all of a sudden on the spiritual path, because this person was open enough to do that. So not judging it from that aspect of somebody else, if you're working with them as a healer or something like, oh my God, they died and this was no, you don't know what the journey was. And you do know what your journey is. But it's really being open and being honest with yourself that, when you're saying, okay, look, how can I change this? How can I shift this? And what am I here for? And that's a whole other thing. But the whole aspect of you bringing your truth, being ready, say, I'm ready and open to hear my truth and to see what this whole purpose is and why I'm bringing this to me, and paying attention to the things that are around you. If a book falls in your place or somebody tells you a book, sometimes it's just opening that up to read that one thing. Or what movies are all of a sudden playing? What are you hearing? It's being really truthfully aware of everything that is going around you, because you do get your answers. A lot of people say, well, I didn't get the answer I asked. No, you are even before you think that full thought, that answer is already coming in. So it's you being aware and awake to see, to feel, to hear, and say, I'm ready. I'm open to receive. I hear clearly. I get my messages clearly. Because again, if you're saying you're not doing it, that's magnified and you're not getting the answer, because that's the energy going out.
Yeah. And you're not separate. I think, and I know for me, when I first started this work, is I had this impression of my guides being so far away. And then I remember I listened to somebody that was talking about it, and they're like, no, they're, if you picture like a cyclone of energy around you, they're right, like if you pictured that and stick your hand in it, that's where they are. That's and because again, if your perception is they're far away, oh no, it's going to be hard, and or I can't hear them, and know that the information comes in the funniest ways too. They have a sense of humor. Like,
Mhm.
I was trying to remember the name of an app. I was on a phone call a couple of weeks ago, and then I went for a walk, and it was weird. It had just rained in with LA, like when it rains, like people roll up the carpet and park their car. So there were no cars on this busy street that I usually cross. And I couldn't remember the name of the app when we were talking. And here comes this huge van on the side. It said Clubhouse in big letters. And I cracked up and I said, thank you. Because literally 15 minutes before that was the name of the freaking app. And one car, this massive van with the letters like big as day. And I just started laughing. And so, start to and have fun with that. Look for these synchronicities, and it does come to you, but you got to slow it down. And like Tracy was saying, if you are looking and trying to bounce your idea off somebody, or you're looking for guidance, then when like all of us can hear in someone's language, oh, okay, I know exactly where you're at by your language, then you have to stop and go, okay, what guidance do you have for me? And like even her pointing out you're not listening, that is guidance. That that's guidance, because hopefully that's like, oh wait a minute, am I too busy defending? In that need to be right is an old defense mechanism, because again, the fight or flight thought system says if you're not right, you're going to die. Like everything is in terms of you're going to die. Everything's life or death with the fight or flight thought system. It's going away, it's gone, and you're being detached from. You'll have a memory of an occurrence where it did churn up the emotion, but that emotion's been healed. So now you can have like a memory of it, but not that attachment, because our bodies are being upgraded so we can create in the higher, right? The higher realms of consciousness. So, Tracy, anything to add? We felt bad because you had to take a commercial break there.
I know. No, and I can tell my reception here is kind of shady and miserable, but no, I'm good. Well, actually, I do want to add one more thing. The personal responsibility component. That's a big one. We're being pushed to take personal responsibility, and that's why it's scary. It's scary to be responsible for everything in your world.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you've relied on other people for safety, this is we're our own safety, like, and we're supported as individuals. And that's a great point, Tracy, is to, when you stand in your power, and again, you go from that unknown to saying, okay, wait, well, I'm empowered and I have support and I have guidance. And then know what? Join a community like When Pigs Fly so that you can hear you're not going insane, you're not alone, and share your journey. Start sharing your journey with people with like-minded. It's very important that they're like-minded or it'll bounce off. And if it bounces off, don't get frustrated. That's their journey. That's just where they're at. It's not wrong. They have the same superpowers you do. They're just not in that place. But when you start speaking your truth for where you are in your journey, your tribe hears it and finds you, and you find each other, and it's beautiful, and it's you have that synchronicity, and there is like we find such safety in our conversations, and you guys have no idea the crap we talk about. And so, it's there. The support is there. You're not alone. You're not going through it alone, and no one's exempt. It's how are you choosing to experience it, right? So, well, that went by quickly. And ladies, thank you for another great episode. And thank you to everybody who's been listening and subscribing. Keep hitting that like button, keep sharing it with whoever's ready to listen. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.